Hi.
Hi, Ellen. How are you? Shavua Tov.
Good. Baruch Hashem.
Welcome to the Shabbos night Kumsitz. Kumin sits in front of the computer, right?
Right. That's exactly what we're doing.
That's it.
This is such a fascinating part of the Navi.
I was just telling me that same thing. Yeah, you and I always look at it in advance of this year. I know that.
I try.
No, it's good, but you're right. It's amazing. It's an amazing love and hate and battles and all kinds of and shidduchim here, right?
Comes over him, this melancholy. It seems to undo. Is he liable for what he does when he's under the melancholy?
I don't know. He obviously doesn't have the right medication.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
This was God's will. So what can I tell you? It's God, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu did this to him. Oh, yeah.
Right. I know, but it's hard. In a way, it's a little hard to look at him as a big tzaddik. I don't know.
Who are you talking about? Shaul.
Yeah.
Yes, but he started out that way. So is he bipolar? I mean, it certainly seems like he has huge mood swings, right?
Yeah. And when he's under those mood swings, he does terrible things.
Terrible. Yeah. Unspeakable things. And he does it, right? His son's best friend and his daughter's husband, right? Imagine what happened? But I guess in families, there is violence in families. But here you're dealing with somebody who's about to lose everything that I guess he cherishes, losing the malchus.
For sure. But it's interesting. David was anointed by Shmuel. Why would he say that he's not ra'ui to marry the king's daughter? I mean, nobody knows that he's been anointed yet, but he seemed to have a very low opinion of himself.
He's humble. I think he's humble rather than a low opinion. But the question is why he doesn't say anything. Why I guess he's waiting for Shmuel to say it or for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to pass the message on. I don't know.
As far as we know, I don't think he sees Shmuel again.
Nobody else is on?
Yeah, they're on. Come sit down. Yeah.
I don't think he sees Shmuel again.
We don't see Shmuel again in the rest of the Sefer?
I don't know.
I mean, you have Shmuel Aleph and Beis, but you're right, it passes on. I don't know.
Well, wasn't he out of the picture already?
As far as meeting Shaul, yes, but not as far as interacting with David.
As far as we know.
I'm puzzled.
Yeah, Chaf Aleph.
Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov, everybody.
Shavua Tov.
See, we can follow instructions. We came Matzah Shabbos.
Ernie was concerned. We're thinking.
There's hope for us.
What do you mean? Everybody remember? Yeah.
Everybody's coming out to the shir on a different night.
Remember, show me how to do this thing. So I can see.
You see view,
Where's view?
view, gallery.
Where do you look? Let's see.
Show non-video present.
Ernie, like.
Noch ein Willkommen.
Hi,
Bitte wach.
Bitte wach, bitte wach. Right, because sometimes we can't see because he doesn't. Okay.
So we've left off on we're in Perek Yud Ches,
Tammy.
Pasuk Chav Gimel, and we went through the sugya of Shaul HaMelech, first wanting him to marry the older daughter, Meirav. And we went through the discussion, if she was already given to Michal, did she have Kiddushin with them or not? And he ended up marrying Meirav to another person. So,
They're going out.
Pasuk Chav Gimel, Vaydabru Avdei Shaul Boznei David es advarim ha'eleh. Because Shaul had told them, speak to David, really, I do want you to be my son-in-law. Vayomer David hanikla b'nechem itchaten v'melech v'anochi yishrash v'nikle. How can I marry the daughter of the Melech? I'm a very poor person. And the Meforshim explain a princess needs, big salary, a lot of parnasa, because she's used to living in the Beis HaMelech. But I'm not fit for that. Because he was not from a wealthy family. He ended up not getting a large gift from the king for killing Goliath. And if so, he remained an Oni. So in Tehillim it says, Vanochi tolad velo ish cherpat adamu vazui am. He was really an honor of David HaMelech. So that's a honest statement that he made. So vayagidu avdei posuk chavdal vayagidu avdei Shaul lo lemor kavrim ha'ele diber David. The servants of Shaul report back what David said. Vayomer Shaul kol tormunu David ein chayfetz lemelech b'mohar. I don't need money. I don't need you to be a wealthy person. Ki b'meya or lo plishtim. I will accept a gift of 100 foreskins of plishtim. Again, Shaul is paranoid. He thinks that David HaMelech wants to kill him. He's already tried to throw a spear at him. He's already appointed him the general of his armies to go fight the plishtim. Again, in Shaul's mind, he thinks that this will lead to the death of Shaul with him not being involved. He wants David dead, but he doesn't want to do it in his own hands. He hasn't come out openly against David. He's doing this now sort of secretly. And again, he comes up with this plan of the 100 foreskins so that the Malbim says that he wanted David to take the foreskins while the Plishtim were still alive. Others say no, only after death, because it's a cruel thing. Usually Jewish fighters aren't cruel when they fight. Right? And the Pasuk says directly, Shaul chashav lahapil et David biyad plishtim. Shaul's concept was that he should, again, it's going to arouse tremendous hatred in the plishtim against David, because whether he does it while they're alive, whether he does them after death, it's mutilating the bodies after death, and this will inflame them more to kill him. The Rav Schwab, right, the Mordasra of the Yekek community when he was alive, said that the Plishtim worshipped the foreskin as an avodah zarah. It sort of showed the koach of a man to have children, and the taking of the foreskin was going to certainly inflame the passions of the Plishtim to kill David. Pasuk Chavav. So the servants of Shaul reported this to David. He agreed. He agreed. He didn't wait long, and he agreed to do this. So some of the Meforshim ask, how did David agree to this? First of all, it's a big sakana without purpose, and the gathering of the foreskins. Why did David accept this? It's not a Jewish thing to mutilate soldiers. So David, though, maybe wanted to have the come against the Plishtim who were killing Jewish people. And apparently, the Plishtim would do the same thing to the Jews when they killed them. I mean, like when the Indians and the Native Americans, they would take trophies, they would take the scalp of the people they killed. So this was the same kind of thing. They would take foreskins of other, not just Jews, because Jews wouldn't have foreskins, but other combatants that the Plishtim would fight. It says the Amalekim, when we read in Parshas Kiseitze, the Parsha of Zachor, it says Vayizanev Becha. And Rashi says, Maka Zanav Chotech Milui V'Zorke Klapi Mala, that they would also take off the foreskins of the people they killed in battle. And their intent was to embarrass the mitzvahs of Mila. So, Pasuk Chavav. Vayakam David vayelech uvanashav. David goes with his people. Vayach b'plishtim osayim ish. He killed 200 people. Vayavei David et orlotehem vayamalun lamelech litchaten b'melech. He fulfilled the Tanai. He brought 200 foreskins, and in order to fulfill the marriage, vayiten lo Shaul et Michal bitol isha. The Kliyokar says that David himself killed the Plishtim, not the other people who went with him, because it's Vayach is Beloshen Yachid. Others say the Loshen Yachid is the whole group was like one unit. Now, again, this success that David HaMelech had in fulfilling all of this is inflaming, let's call it the paranoia of Shaul. Last week, Barbara Klein, she actually signed in at 7:30 when we did the Daf Yomi. She thought that Navi Shir today was at 7:30, but she had another Shir to go to. But she mentioned last week that the psychological aspects of Shaul, and it's clear that there are aspects of paranoia in Shaul's fear of David. Vayar Shaul vayeda ki Hashem im David. Again, it shows the power of David HaMelech. Hashem is with him. Michal bat Shaul ahev teyu. We're told that Michal loved David. And we see the Medrash in Tehillim says, Toivim hashnayim min ha'echad. Two are better than one. Says the Medrash, Zu Michal bashol v'Yehonasan. Refers to Michal bashol and Yehonasan. Shayu shneim ohavim leDavid. They both love David. It says beferish, b'Michal ksiv Michal bas Shaul ahevto. U'v'Yonasan we had in the first pasuk of this perek, Vayavu Yonasan kenaf Shaul. Yonasan loved David like his life. So the Medrash continues. Toivim hashnayim min ha'echad v'achut ha'mishulash lo b'mehera yinatek. Elu Yisrael v'Yehuda. Shenemar v'chol Yisrael v'Yehuda oev es David. We had before that both Israel and Judea loved David. So, yes, Ellen, you want to say something?
When David answers Shaul that he's not ra'ui to Michal.
Yes.
I mean, he was already crowned, anointed king. I mean, he as king, he would have been perfect for her. What
I think they stress David HaMelech's anivus, that he didn't speak falsely. From a monetary point of view, David HaMelech didn't have any assets. He was not from a wealthy family, and usually a princess marries somebody wealthy, so he was speaking truth.
But he was from a prominent family.
He was from a prominent, I guess, not prominent enough in his mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because remember, the word Rosh, Ish Rosh refers to monetary wealth, refers to poverty.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it written?
So there's one commentary that says
No, the
that-
pasuk in Chav Gimel, it said, "Va'anochi ish rash v'nikla," refers to monetary wealth.
I didn't see
Yes.
that.
so Ernie, there's
That's
one.
on that's pasuk Chav Gimel. Go ahead, Bernie.
Yeah, on Pasuk Chav Gimel, going back to there's one commentator that says that actually what David was saying was a subtle complaint that he had never that Shaul had never fulfilled his commitment of paying the man who would slay Goliath, and so that's why he had no money for a dowry. Had he been
Right.
paid, okay, so
Right? Ein Chanami. Ein
that's another
Chanami.
Pirush.
Ein
Where
Chanami.
is it written what he said?
Ein Chanami. Then pasuk. So pasuk Chav Tes.
Where is it?
Vayosef Shaul le'rom ipnei David od. So again, Shaul is fearing David. Vayi Shaul oyev et David kol hayamim. He becomes his enemy.
Significant.
Now, Lamed. Vayetzu sarei Plishtim. All of a sudden, the Plishtim get in their mind to come with their battalions and to fight again. Vayi midei tzeitam sachal David mikol avdei Shaul vayikar shmamod. And David goes out to fight him, and again, David Melech is successful, and again, everybody who hears about it is praising David. Now, what all of a sudden? Why in the next passage does it say the Plishtim went out to greet battle? So the Medrash Shmuel brings Rabbi Yehuda Rav Simon Omar Nisyaker Shmo Ma'od Balacha Kivan Sheshamu Plishtim Shanasa David Isha Amru. They had heard that all of a sudden David is married, and they know the pasuk in the Torah. Ki yikach ish isha chadasha lo yitzei batzava. One of the rules
First
in
year.
the first year of marriage, Shana Rishona, you don't go out to the army.
Mhm.
So this was a good time for them to jump on Klal Yisrael because David is busy. It says the Medrash, "Veheim einam yodim sheDavid chacham v'doresh b'med." That David Melech was an ish halacha. The doresh b'mad dvar mamurim. When do we say that a newly married man doesn't go out into battle the first year? That's b'milchamot harishut. That is in battles that you choose to go out. Sometimes the king would decide on a milchemes reshut. So, for example, when David HaMelech decided to go battle Aram Tsova, we'll see in Syria, he went to go conquer some of the Syrian lands. That was not considered a milchemes mitzvah. That's a milchemes reshus. Aval b'milchemes mitzvah kol yotzei. Afilu chatan mechedro v'kala mechupaso. But when it comes to a milchemes mitzvah, everybody goes out, even the chas and the kala from the chuppah. Rabbi Yehuda Omer lo, ki ela b'medvar milchemes mitzvah is when, even by milchemes mitzvah, I'm reading the Medrash continuing, that you don't go out, well, a chassan can stay home. Aval milchemes chova, an obligatory milchama called yotze afilu chassan mechedro. Just so obviously, the Plishtim thought that Bahalacha David was also to go out milchama, because it said they just understood lo yitzei batzava, and therefore, since David wasn't going to be there, he wouldn't do something against halacha. They would have a better chance to win. But
Was
they
anybody aware among
they didn't know about this inyan of milchemes mitzvah. Go ahead, Ellen.
was anybody aware of Shaul's enmity towards David? Or
Right.
was
Good question. Right now, no. L'chora, the pasuk is revealing to us Shaul's inner mind, but we're going to see in a few psukim that changes. Up until now, Shaul hasn't shown to anybody his enmity towards David.
okay? So that wouldn't be a reason that the Plishtim would think that they were like more vulnerable because they had this internal fighting going on.
They didn't know yet about any internal fighting.
Okay.
The Medrash seems to suggest that they did know this din, but they didn't know the details of the din. Now,
Ernie,
how do- yes, go ahead.
I just have a thought on this. Put yourself in the shoes of the Plishtim, right? David has just come with his troop, and not only does he kill 200, but he He takes the Arlos, okay? And
He
so it's
mutilates-
like
he mutilates
desecrated.
He mutilates-
the foreskin. He's they're being desecrated. So if you were in their shoes, wouldn't you be infuriated and want to go up in battle, even though you lost the last battle?
So
You'd be
you're learning-
enraged.
So you're learning Pashat Pshat.
Yeah, just
Not
from an
brought
emotional
up-
point of view.
Yeah, they came from a feeling of revenge. And a chanami, I understand that. So how do we know that the Milchemes Plishtim is a Milchemes Mitzvah? So we're going to learn a Rambam in Hilchos Malachim, Chelik Hey, that a defensive war, if we are attacked, Milchemes Osai Sahagana, Ezohi Milchemes Mitzvah, number one like this, Zu Milchemes Shiva Amami. The Rambam lists what are considered Milchemes Mitzvah. When we were told to go and destroy the 7 Canaanite nations, that's a Milchemes Mitzvah. Number 2, Milchemes Amalek. That's a Milchemes Mitzvah. And then, here's the point for us, Ezras Yisrael mi'atzar sheba aleim, helping fellow Jews from any enemy that comes on top of them. And the Lechem Mishnah there, one of the major commentators on the Rambam says, this defensive war would be considered Milchemes Mitzvah according to everybody. And the Panim Yafos in Parsha Shoftim says that Kol Milchemes Yisrael in Plishtim hayu Milchemes Chova. They were all obligatory battles. Because Shiny Plishtim Sha'artzam Hi Chelik Me'eretz Yisrael. The Plishtim occupied parts of Eretz Yisrael. So just like by Yitzchak, it said, like in this week's Parsha, Gur Ba'aretz Azos. From here, you should not leave. Yitzchak was forbidden to go Chutz La'aretz. And therefore, the battles of Yeshua also were considered Milchemes Chova. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, the Yalkut Shimoni brings the same medrash. Okay. Perek Yutes. Vaydaber Shaul el Yonatan ben Nova kol avadav lamit et David. Here comes the turn in the story that Ellen was waiting for. Now, Shaul tells his son and his servants that you have to kill David. So now it's not a secret anymore. The Yonatan ben Shaul chafetz b'David ma'od. But Yonatan is an ally of David HaMelech. So this is initially, last perek, Shaul tries b'shogeg to throw a spear at him, or he tried to put him in charge of the battles against the Plishtim, didn't work. Now, he's going to not do it himself, he's going to do it through shluchim. His son, his servants. He's going to give a reason why he wants David killed. He's going to do it sort of hidden, in a little hidden way. They're not going to know for sure that it came from the Mitzuda. So as David seems to learn that he still wanted to shield it a little bit. It's not coming directly from the Melech. So up until now, when Shaul had these paranoid fits and the Ruach Ra, and he always was thinking David was coming to kill him. So he tried to kill David. He threw the spear at him. He put him in front of the army for the Plishtim. Now starts a new phase in the chasing of Shaul after David. Now he's doing it more publicly. And he commands the people under him to kill David. Now, I understand when Shaul is doing this with the Ruach Ra, but how did the people around him accept what Shaul is telling them? David is not Chayv Misa. He's not trying to kill Shaul. Now, we can't say that they thought David was a Moired b'Malchus. There is a din, if somebody tries to rebel against the king, you're allowed to kill him. But there's no evidence here that they thought that David was a Moired b'Malchus. That has to be done anyways by a psak in Sanhedrin. So we're going to see Yonatan is eventually going to tell David, one of the pshatim is, don't worry. The servants of Shaul don't agree with my father to kill you. Later on, though, they did do it. So why? So some say they were fearful that Shaul was going to kill them if they don't listen to, because by not listening to the king to kill David, they themselves are moed b'malchus. So they were afraid for their own lives.
It's,
Or they
does-
thought that David was a danger to the king, because it's obviously Shaul feels that. Yes, Ellen?
it doesn't say anywhere what David's reaction does. Is he, I mean, when he tries to kill him with the spear, is David aware that,
No,
Shaul's-
David wasn't aware of that. Remember, he happened to have moved away. David is not yet aware, but he's going to be made aware now.
okay.
He's going to be made aware now.
Where did he
Now-
move to?
Now you notice,
Just move slightly as this
you
way.
notice-
So you missed it.
notice in this pasuk, Yonatan is spelled two different ways.
Yeah.
First without a hey, and then when it talks about the love of David, of Yonatan to David, it's with a hey. So again, when he talks to Shaul that he wants him to kill him, it's without a hey. But then, so the Choimas Anach, who is one of the Meforshei Anach, says that this hey that is added to Yonasan, and in another place, a yud is added to the word David, Dalid Vav Yud Dalid. So that's Yud K. So the hey of Yonasan and the extra yud of David is Ka. Similarly to Ish v'Isha, right? What's the difference between an Ish and an Isha? The yud and the K. And that's why later on, it says Nifleit Avat Chali Me'avat Nashim, that the love between Yonatan and David was even greater than the love between man and woman. So that's this remez of the Yud and the K. Pasuk Beis. Vayaged Yonatan and David lemor, mevakesh Shaul avi lamitecha. So now Yonatan tells David, my father wants to kill you. V'atay shamen abav boker, v'yashavta b'seiter v'lach beita. In the morning, stay in the field and stay hidden. Now, Yehonatan is torn. There's a chiyuv of kibud av va'em. Shaul is Yonasan's father. And then he has his friendship with David. Of course, he's also the melech, besides his father. So the Me'am Loez says Yonatan tried to accomplish both with this pasuk. He advised David to stay out of sight. And in that way, he's not doing anything to the covet of his father. Again, the Chomas Anach learns differently. That, you know what? In this situation, Yonasan is not mechuyev to listen to his father. Why? For example, in Mitzav ha'av livno l'chalo Shabbos or lavo avera, not mechayev. If a father tells a son to do an avera, a son is not obligated to follow. So it's not a problem because Shaul is doing all this shelo kedin. David didn't do anything to be mechayev misa. There's another halacha that the Rambam brings of lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. Don't, if you can save somebody, you don't save them, you're over alav. The Rambam says, kol hayachol lahatziv lo hitzel over lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. If you can save somebody, you don't save them, you're over a very severe lav of lo samad al dam re'echa. So Yonasan, because of this mitzvah, is also required to do it.
Ernie, can I ask you a question?
Please.
I noticed that in both of these two psukim, there's seems to be additional words that are not necessarily needed. If you look at the first pasuk aleph, it says, "V'Yonasan ben Shaul." We know that Yonasan is the son of Shaul. Look at the second pasuk. It says, "Mavakesh Shaul avi." Why is there a repetition? Why is there? You have to explain who Shaul is with Yonasan talking in the second pasuk. So, I mean, I can't figure it out other than perhaps from a psychological point of view, Yonasan is challenged is troubled because he's got dual loyalties, one to his father and one to his love for David. So therefore, it's being made, even though my father wants to kill the person I love, he's still my father, or right, or even though.
Absolutely. I think it's exactly why we discussed this double choivos that Yonason had. I think it highlights it. It's a way, it's a dramatic way of highlighting the dilemma that Yonason had.
Mhm.
Pasuk Gimel. Vani ate seva marati liyad aviv. And there's a plan. I'm going to go stand near my father. Basadeh asher atasham. You're going to be in the same field. Vani adaber b'chalavin. I'm going to speak, but I'm going to speak. We'll see. Does he speak good about him or not good about him? V'ra'isi ma v'garit lach. We'll see what my father says, and then I will tell you. So the Malbim learns when it says Vani adaber b'cha, the Malbim says Ani adaber alav ra. I'm going to speak bad about you, and we'll see whether my father agrees with me. That's one way, and we'll see what's true in his heart. Does he really want to kill you or not? And some say Yonasan wanted David to hear with his own ears good things that he's going to say to his father on his behalf, and not to be choished in him either, that he's doing something against David. So there's a debate whether he's going to speak good or whether he's going to speak bad. Pasuk Daled. Vaydaber Yonasan b'David tov el shol aviv. Yonasan speaks good. Vayomer elav al yechta melech ba'avdo b'David. You don't sin with your servant David. Ki lo chatalach. He didn't do anything wrong to you. L'chi ma'asav tov lecha me'od. In fact, everything he did good for you. He killed Goliath. He saved that battle. Why are you doing this?
Why is there an extra vav in the low? In pasuk,
Lamed Vav.
pasuk Hey.
I don't see any of the Meforshim comment. I just wanted to say, one of the things that the Metzudas David and the Malbim say is the fact that the singers would say Shaul killed his thousands and David in the 10,000s, but he didn't do anything to you. You're upset by those comments, but that's not David's fault. I don't see any drushes regarding that extra vav in the low, but many times we have that kind of thing. Some say that the Malbim, how could the Malbim give a pshat that he spoke badly and wanted to see if Shaul agrees with it when it says clearly in the pasuk that Vayidaber Yonasan b'David tov el Shaul aviv. So the Malbim learns because the word Vayidaber is lashon kasha, and that's why he started off bad. But then Vayomer is lashon rach, is easy, and so that's why the Malbim wants to learn pshat that first it was bad, and then it was good. Pasuk Hey, Vayasam es nafsho b'chapo. He was moiser nefesh for you. Vayachat aplishti, to kill Goliath. Vayas Hashem tshuak gdula l'chol Yisrael. Because of his actions, it led to an ace. Ra'ita v'tisma, you were happy. Why are you going to sin spilling innocent blood? Lamita David chinam, for no reason. Vayishma Shaul b'kol Yonatan, Vayishava Shaul Chai Hashem im Yumad. Shaul agrees and takes an oath, and he takes an oath not to kill him. And Vayikra Yonatan David, Vayagedlo Yonatan et kol v'ma'ele, Vayavei Yonatan et David el Shaul. David reunites them. Vayhila fanav ket Moshe Shom, and they're again like they started off friends. So let's unpack this a little bit. Some say that he was indeed influenced by Yonatan. And even though he didn't think that David was innocent, he thought he was Chayv Misa. because he always thought that David was trying to kill him, but that was sort of through a sickness.
I should be killed.
Why?
But now, temporarily, he agreed that maybe it wasn't David's intent to kill him. Some say that now this Ruach Ra left from him, sort of in a short time, and therefore, now that he was masking be'emes. See, that's what the Meforshim debate. Is Shaul just deflecting Yonasan, or right now be'emes, is he taking the Shavua because he understood that he had this mercurial nature. Sometimes he's paranoid, sometimes he's not. And by making the Shavua, it will strengthen him not to kill David. That's how the Choymas Oinach learns. Others learn that no, he's just trying to be Matthias as Yonasan. He's trying to just get Yonasan off his back. But it was not be'emes that he's going against what he was trying to do against David. In fact, this now attempt of Shaul to bring David back to him and into the palace is to make it easier for him to kill him. As we're going to see. Pasuk Ches. Vatosav ha-milchama liyot. There's more battles with Plishtim. Vayetze David vayilchem b'Plishtim vayach b'hem makah gdola vayanus mipanav. Again, they go fleeing in front of David. Of course, this always leads to Shaul's depression. When he sees David's success, that makes him depressed. So again, Vatihi Ruach Hashem Ra'el Shaul, V'hu b'veito Yoshev, and he's in his palace. V'chanito biyado. Again, he finds the spear in his hand. V'David menagem biyad. And remember, what happened when Shaul is depressed? They bring out David and his harp, and he plays for him. But and even though he made a shvuah not to kill him, the Ruach Ra gets the better of him. Again, he attempts to throw the spear. Now, David HaMelech recognizes that he's under attack, and he escapes. We'll see in a minute. This pasuk his wife Michal is soon going to encourage him to escape. So this pasuk is already pre-identifying that that's going to occur. Some learn that he's escaping to his house to go talk to his wife, so maybe show that his wife can talk to his father not to kill him. And when he got home, Michal tells him, no, you must escape. Yud Aleph. So David now is in his home with his wife Michal. Vayishlach Shaul malachim el Beit David l'shamro. So this is the first set of, let's call them agents, shluchim, l'shamro, to watch him. Now, what does that mean, watch him? The Meforshim are going to say, we're going to learn that they're surrounding the house to make sure that David HaMelech doesn't escape. And therefore, v'lahamito baboker, and they're going to assassinate him in the morning. V'tagedu David Michal ishto lemor. Michal tells David, if you don't escape tonight, tomorrow you will be killed. So first, by doing this at night, maybe Shaul's embarrassed. He doesn't want to do this in front of the people. It's embarrassing to him. Others say, what do you mean? He's already announced publicly that he wants David killed. So some say that these shluchim were sent with an excuse that really Shaul HaMelech wants to reconcile with you. And therefore, he will send new agents in the morning. David HaMelech will have his guard down. It'll be easier to kill him. But Michal, his wife, being a smart wife, understands the sakana and therefore tells him to escape. The Radak explains why didn't, if he wants him killed, why didn't they just send shluchim to kill him right away? So the Radak learns he didn't want him to kill him in front of his daughter. And that they would bring him to him in the morning and he would kill him there. Now the Malbim explains, through all of this action, we see David escapes. Now he can be judged as a Moira b'Malchus. It means if you escape from the king without his reshus, you're a Moira b'Malchus. And this is sort of a cover that when David HaMelech is killed, Shaul can say, I killed them because he was a Moira b'Malchus. Because you see, I sent
What does that mean?
agents to watch him.
For the kingdom, ruling against the kingdom.
And if he killed him right away, he would be killing without a dinu mishpat. And by sending guards to watch him, it was a way for Shaul maybe he understood that David would run away. Therefore, he'd already be labeled as a Moed b'Malchus, as somebody who's rebelling against the king. And he comes a famous Chazal in the Medrash Shmuel. Rav Yehuda Rab Simon. Afilu kroim lo asisim. He means he didn't leave David HaMelech out to escape because he sent malachim to watch the house. Something that even Jezebel, says the Medrash Bas Kumrim, who was a daughter of Avodah Zarah, he mishlachat vomert leliyahu ka'et machar asib nafshecha kenefesh echad mehem. Izebel tells Eliyahu Navi, tomorrow they're going to kill you. What did he do? She gave him an escape route. Upoiseach lech Pesach sheyivrach. But here, Shaul HaMelech sends malachim to not even to give David HaMelech any out. So Chazal see rishus in Shaul HaMelech because of this. So Pasuk Yud Beis, Vatored Michal is David Bar Chalon. Michal lowers David HaMelech out of the window. I guess the watchers were on the other side of the house, and he lowered them. He lowered him out of the window on the other side. Vayelech, vayivrach, vayimalet. He's able to escape. By the way, sometimes we say vayonas achutza, right? By Yosef, it says vayonas achutza. Here, what does it say? Vayivrach. The Malbim says there's a difference between Nisa ubricha. Shahanesu imrod fimachrav. If you're being chased, then the word nas is used. Or shasakana krov, or if the danger is very close. Aval bricha is kashena sagagnola kolkach. If the danger is not so great, then you use the word bricha. The Medrash Tanchuma says this was Shabbos. How do we know that? Because the Medrash Tanchuma in Parshas Maseh says, Yilamdenu Rabbeinu, Mishu nirdaf min hagayus min alis. Somebody's being chased by a Roman legion or by armed robbers. Maushi chalalas hashabbos. Can you mechal Shabbos to get away? Kach shana Rabbeinu hanirdaf min hagayus min alis mechalas hashabbos. Umatzas nasho. If you're running away from a Roman legion or from armed robbers, you can mechal Shabbos to save your life. Shekain anu motzim b'David. Kishabike shol lahargo borach v'nimlan. Our pasuk, David HaMelech, it must have been on Shabbos, because the Gemara is learning that you're allowed to save your life on Shabbos by mechalit from this episode of David HaMelech.
Isn't this similar to the story in Yoshua where the spies escaped? She helped them down from her window.
Yeah, but I don't. There was no right. It was Shabbos.
No, I'm just saying, was that bricha or what was the lesson there?
No, there she just lowered them down to get them out of there.
Rachav.
Yeah, it's not about Rachav Azona. No, I noticed also the Ba'ara Chalon. I couldn't see any more farshim make a comparison. I think it's just a practical story. How do people sometimes escape out the window? I mean, I think it's more pashtus rather than a drasha there. But I did also notice the comparison to what happened by Rachav. I want to finish the Chazal there. So,
What is
when the Romans destroyed in 70 CE the Beis Hamikdash, so Sanhedrin moved to Yavne. Remember, Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai said, "Tein li Yavne v'chachamea." Later on, after the revolt, the Sanhedrin had to move a number of times. It ended up in Tzipoiri. Tzipoiri is a town near Tveria. Bo v'sholos Rabbi Elazar ben Prata. So letters came from Rome to the Gedolim on Shabbos in Tzipoiri about a decree by the Romans against them. Bo v'sholos Rabbi Elazar ben Prata. So they went and asked a shaila from Rabbi Elazar. Armalo ktavim roim bo eleim malchus. Ma tamer nivrach, should we escape? He was concerned about telling them to escape because it was Shabbos. Armalam beremez. V'liatem shoyelim, why are you asking me? L'chu v'shalu es Yaakov es Moshe es David. Go ask your forefathers, Yaakov, Moshe, and David. Yaakov ksiv, vayivrach Yaakov ste Aram. Yaakov escaped to Aram. B'Moshe ksiv, vayivrach Moshe b'nei Paro. B'David ksiv, v'David nas vayimolet. Mashma de kol ma'isa zaya b'Shabbos. Apparently, these ma'asim also run Shabbos. Ulefichach loim d'mikan demurter l'milamed b'Shabbos b'shas sakana. If you have a sakana and you have to escape from your city, you're allowed to go even on Shabbos. So, Efshar mishum zeh lo nas David miyad. Maybe that's why David didn't escape out Sha'amar lo Michal shu b'sakana. Di'meinu nas halayla l'mochrat tamumas. She told him, if you don't escape tonight, you're going to die tomorrow. He didn't think it was a sakana, that it was mutter enough to be machal Shabbos. Now that she was told by Michal that it's a sakana nefashos, he agreed to escape. Pasuk Yud Gimel vatikach Michal et hatrafim. Trafim, if you remember, refer to like dolls. Okay, we'll see in a minute what the pshat is here. Does anybody remember where we last saw the word trafim?
The idols.
Yeah, but the word for this we find by Rachel.
Rachel and Leah, yeah.
By Rachel.
Yeah.
When Lavan, remember Lavan is chasing after, Yaakov escapes with Leah and Rachel, and Lavan goes into the tent. Someone stole Lavan's trafim. He was an idol worshiper. And there they also used the word trafim. And remember, Rachel sat on them. And when Lavan comes into the tent, he says, listen, I have my female issues, so I can't get up. So that's the last time. So trafim normally referred to idols. But here, Michal is preparing a dummy, a human dummy, to be in David HaMelech's bed, so that if the shluchim look in, they're going to see a person there. And that's what
Mannequins here.
Yeah, like a mannequin. And going to give, and then she'll tell these malachim he's sick, to give him more time to get away. I saw one pshat. Listen to this. Women at that time, the wives then loved their husbands so much that they would make like a model of their husbands. And when they were away on travel, they were traveling salesmen or whatever, they had a model that they could remind themselves of their husband.
Well,
Dream
don't we put it up on our on your homepage and stuff like that? Your husband's pictures, your homepage. So before they had photography and homepages, that's what they did.
Okay, so there it is. So some say, listen to this. Who says this? The Das Soifrim. These were like mannequins, but asuyas ma'or b'tzur sodom. Like a hanger. They would hang their clothes on these things. It was a functional thing that was used in the home. That's how the Das Soifrim moves. Because remember, they've got to come up with a pshat. What do you mean, Michal Bas Shol is not going to have idols in her house? So the normal pshat of Trofim is idols. So these are various pshatim to try to explain what was she doing with these things. Some say with these, there was sort of kishuv done with them. Kishuv means magic. They either for weather or to know the future in a dvar heter, without avodah zarah. Me'am Loaz brings another pshat that this was David HaMelech, because remember, Michal is going to have to explain to her father, well, if she's putting the mannequin there, it looks like she's protecting David and not listening to her father. So it's really, David knew this because he used these trophim that was able to tell him these secret things. That's what the Me'am Loaz brings that pshat as well. So multiple pshats what the trophim are, but in essence, it was a way to give him more time to escape. So she took it that Kavir Yizim, she covered it with hair of the goats, put it on Shaman Rasutav and covered it with like a blanket. So Vayishlach Shaul Malachim Lakachos David. So now he has to send another group of Malachim, since in the morning David doesn't come out of the house. So the original Shluchim go and tell him that. And but Vatomer Cholahu, because the original Malachim said that she was sick. He was sick. And Michal didn't let them into the house. So now he sends a second group of Malachim. And now the first Malachim was just going to be watching the house from the outside. But now that he didn't come out in the morning, so the first shluchim didn't bring him, so he sent second shluchim to go into the house, take him, and bring him in
his bed.
Correct. And bring him here to my house so we can kill him here. And they find the mannequin. And now Shaul realizes that he was duped. Why have you tricked me? You let my enemy escape. Michal makes up a story that's sort of her husband forced her. Otherwise, he would kill me. Because again, she has to save face in front of her father. Was not true, but she wants to protect herself against the anger of her father. Now, when you have kibud av versus your husband, what's the din? So a married woman is really she's meshubah to the husband, and therefore the kibud av is less so. But you're not allowed to cause kibud av. You're not allowed to cause your father pain. That's not mutter. So that's why she shielded him from any kind of painful thoughts.
Yeah, but doesn't it say Ki yazavish es aviv v'imo v'dovat be'ishto?
In a Chanami, that is a raya that once Nesuin takes place, there's less kibud av. She's subservient to her husband before she's subservient to the father.
So wouldn't it have been her first duty to protect her husband?
And that's
Yes,
why she did. But we're explaining now to Shaul, she's really not truthful. David didn't threaten Michal with her life to allow him to escape. But it's said in a way to decrease any pain that Shaul might have because of lack of kibud av. It shows the delicate balance that we're supposed to do, even in these extreme crises moments. You're still supposed to think halachically regarding these issues. David Barach. So David escaped. Where does he go? By Malet. Vayavol Shmuel Aramasa. He goes to Shmuel Hanavi, who anointed him to be king. Vayagid Lord Kol Asher Asalo Shol. Now he tells Shmuel what Shaul is trying to do to him. Vayelechu u'Shmuel vayeshvu b'Nayot. B'Nayot is a suburb. Machlok is exactly what B'Nayot refers to. According to the Pshat, it's a makom that's called Nayot in the city of Ramah where Shmuel lived. Some say it's outside of the city. However, the Midrashim give us a different Pshat. This was the place Nayot where the Bnei Nevi'im would sit and learn in front of Shmuel. It says Masechta Zvachim, Daf Nun Daled Amud Beis, Dorosh Rabbo. My dichsi vayelech David u'Shmuel vayeshvu b'Nayot b'Ramah. What does it mean that David and Shmuel went and they sat in B'Nayot? V'chimai inyot noyot etzel. What does one have to do with the other? Ela shayu yoshvim b'Ramah. That's the city of Shmuel, says Rashi. But oiskim b'noyav shalom. The word noy means beautiful things. When we say noy sukkah, we're referring to the decorations of the sukkah. And Rashi explains, what do you mean b'noyav shalom? Limtso mokom lebeis habechira min ha'Torah. That they were told when they came into Eretz Yisrael, ela menucha v'lanachla, that the Mishkan is going to be in Shiloh for a certain time. That's the menucha. But the nachla is going to be the permanent Beis HaMikdash. They didn't know exactly where the Beis HaMikdash was going to be built. So now David HaMelech and Shmuel are beginning to learn the sugya, where is going to be the Beis HaBechira. Ksiv, v'kamta v'alita lamakom. Well, they say you're going to go up to the place. Melamed shebeis HaMikdash gavoa b'kol Eretz Yisrael. The Beis HaMikdash has to be built in the highest place. Eretz Yisrael gavoa b'kol Eretz. Eretz Yisrael is one of the highest places.
Sure.
Lava yodi duchtecha. I used to say for Yoshua. The brother say for Yoshua. It says vayered va'ala hagvul v'tor hagvul b'shevet binyamin va'ala v'yared loksiv. When we learned Sefer Yoshua, we went through like the borders of the country, and when they got to Shevet Binyamin, it says they went up, and it doesn't say go down. Shma mino hachol makoymai. So they understood that must be the place in Shevet Binyamin, because Yerushalayim is in Makom Binyamin. And they learned the halachas of the Beis HaMikdash, which is No'eh, because the Beis HaMikdash is the most beautiful place in the world. Now, it says very clearly that that David comes and tells Shmuel everything that's going on. But we don't see that Shmuel gives him an answer about anything. So some want to learn that the fact that they started learning where's the Makom Beis HaMikdash, that's the tshuva. That even though you're having sorrows now, David, he told him b'nevuah that your son is going to build the Beis HaMikdash. And this is how it's going to be, look, and this is what's its place. Pasuk says, Vayugad l'Shaul le'mor. In fact, Shaul was told, Inei David b'Nayot barama. David is in B'nayot. Vayishlach Shaul malachim lakachas es David. And he sent malachim to take David from there. Vayaret la'akat anavim nibim. These malachim see other Nevi'im in the school of Nevi'im with Shmuel, Omed Nitzav Aleim. Very interesting lashon. Omed Nitzav, right? Vatem Nitzavim Ayom Kulchem. It also means stand. So Omed Nitzav is sort of a double language. Vatihi Malachei Shaul Ruach Levai Nabu Gamema. These malachim are caught up in the spirit of Nevuah and they start prophesying as well. So the Malbim explains, what's the difference between Amida and Hityatzvut? Amida hu rak hefech hayeshiva or ashchiva valicha. The word stand is the opposite of sit. Aval Hityatzvut hu ha'amida shetzricha koach v'sizuk liot nisha alamdo. You stand with resolute strength, is how I would translate what the Malbim is saying. That means it's the ability to stand that needs chizuk in order to be able to stand on your feet. And Shmuel, his ability to stand, to be nitzav aleim, and to be mashpia nevuah, they derived their nevuah from Shmuel. He's the light that's lighting up their nefashos to be able to misnabes. That's why they use the word nitzav. It's not just amida, it's nitzav. So the first set of malachim begin to be misnabe. Shaul sends other malachim. They caught up in the same nevuah. He sends a third group. Shaul HaMelech himself goes to Ramah. He goes to the big pit. Vayishal vayomer eifo Shmuel v'David. Vayomer hinei b'nayot barama. They are again b'nayot barama. Vayelech sham el nayot barama v'ti alav gamu ruach elokim. Shaul HaMelech gets this ruach as well. Vayelech vayitnabei ad bo b'nayot barama. He begins to prophesize with them. Vayivshat gamu b'gadav. He takes off his clothing. We'll see. Does it mean his royal clothing or mamish's clothing? Vayitnabei gamu lifnei Shmuel. Vayipol aron. They fall naked. Kol hayom alu v'chol halayla. Day and night. Al ken yomru hagam Shaul banavim. Is Shaul also a navi? So, what is this? The begodim. So some say it's just his royal begodim. And some say that the Radak says that it's mamish, they all took their clothing off. What's this? Radak says, Ki b'banavu ala adam, when a person has prophecy, yitbatlu hargeshoy tov, vayipol adam, like when it says by Bila nofelu gluyanayim. It says by Daniel, ani ayiti nirdam al pnai upnai arza. Upamim yikreshi yivshat gadavim beirov bitul argeshosav machshavosav nafshiot yishaer bekoach hasechel levado. You lose all of your emotions and your thoughts, and you become pure intellect. The Ralbag says, Nevuah is like Ruach HaKodesh, and removal of your clothing is because of the dvekus b'muskelet. It's having intellectual connection with Hashem. And you have no inyanim agufim, so there's no embarrassment, there's no physical issues at all. It's all spiritual, it's all intellect. It's like you're unconscious. Therefore, clothing or not clothing, that's this concept of, but Rashi learns Bigdei Malchus, and to wear the clothing of Talmidim in the yeshiva.
What was the nevuah that they prophesied? Doesn't tell us what the nevuah is.
So the prophecies were involved, David being the king.
So one of the reasons of Big Day Malchus, that explanation about Shaul was too embarrassed to be in front of Shmuel with Big Day Malchus, because Shmuel had already told him that he would be stripped of his kingship and his powers the next time he saw him.
That the Abarbanel says, Sheyimloch David al Kolponim. That the nevuahs had to do with the fact that David HaMelech was gonna rule. He was gonna rule. Hu Sheyimloch David al Kol Yisrael. And other nevuahs that would occur during that period of time. So very interesting parak, the back and forth. But finally, it's open that Shaul is chasing after David to kill him. Up until now, it was not known, but now it becomes known. And next week, we, God willing, will learn the famous Haftarah of Machar Chodesh, where again David and Yonasan have their final meeting, and it's very emotional. And it's also, we see the anger of Shaul against David. Let's have a discussion. Does everybody, now that we're changing the clock, is Saturday night, 8 o'clock a good time for everybody?
No, let's stick to Sunday.
You want to stick to Sunday night?
Just in case you want to go out, how often is that? Not often, but sometimes you do.
You mean Motzei Shabbos
Yeah,
is better than Sunday night?
no,
Sunday
the
night-
other way around.
Yeah, that means you'd rather keep the Navi Shir Sunday night,
Yeah,
okay?
Alternatively, you could give the shir at 7 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock.
Which,
On Sun-
you mean Sunday or Saturday?
Saturday.
Sunday.
Shabbos.
Sunday.
Sometimes it would be good to
Nice.
do it on Saturday nights.
So
Earlier.
Motzei Shabbos at 7 o'clock could work, if that, unless it's too
What are
early.
the other
I don't think
people
it's like
think?
Shabbos is gonna be over like 5:30 next week.
Mhm.
So
Right,
why
right.
don't we try that? Why don't we try Motzei Shabbos 7 o'clock?
Why do you prefer that to Sunday?
Because it's the only night our family can go out to dinner and we can't go out to dinner.
Oh,
So
Okay.
just saying. it's-
okay.
we're Not able to go out. So we just thought maybe if we,
But
yeah.
for
if-
sure, for the winter, it probably works
Right,
just.
not for the summer.
Yeah,
It
I think
doesn't work
just,
in the
I think just
summer.
the winter time is when we'll do this.
Sunday,
Okay.
7. Okay.
It doesn't.
that-
work-
Sunday or Saturday?
It doesn't have to be every week. It could be, it's just,
Now, if
Yeah,
you
that's
want to
okay
go out
with
with your
us.
kids,
Saturday,
okay.
7.
So
It's
why
okay with
don't,
us.
do you
Ellen,
want to?
does Saturday night work for you?
Yeah, sure.
7 o'clock?
Yes, of course.
Mario, does it work for you?
but only, it doesn't
We'll
have.
be able to go
always-
next Saturday night. We won't be able to do it.
Why not?
Because we're going to this show.
Oh, right.
That's what I say, which is the best, are people more occupied Saturday night or are people more occupied Sunday night?
We're not occupied at all.
No, because Sunday night, Sunday
You're
night,
occupying us.
I am so busy, I can't take it.
no, but I mean, Sunday night, there are weddings, there might be a bas mitzvah, a bar mitzvah. I think Saturday night, that's rare. It's.
Yeah, but Sunday night is Ed Sullivan.
The Topo Gigio.
He doesn't even know who Ed Sullivan is.
Sure he does.
I watched the Beatles with
Yeah.
my whole family.
Just kidding.
Sunday
We
night.
had
I want to
How
make you
was
feel
it?
young.
What'd they say? What did they think?
My grandmother didn't know what was going
My
on.
mother had to stay
My
up.
grandmother used to love to watch like Westerns. I had no clue why she barely understood English, but she loved that. Okay, so let's do next Motzei Shabbos, we'll try at 7 o'clock.
Okay,
And
fine.
we'll see how it works.
Okay.
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 If it doesn't